As I am not a financial advisor. Any and all content provided by me contains my own speculative opinion on the market. As such, this content should not be used to make trading or investment decisions. The market is extremely volatile, and the decisions you make should be based on your own due diligence. If you should make a trade or investment decision based off the speculative content that we provide, this disclaimer legally relinquishes me from any and all responsibility. Past market performance is not indicative of future market results. Trading in any market is extremely risky, and you should conduct your own research and analysis prior to making trading or investment decisions. Well. Happy fucking Thursday, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Blackfire TA. No requests today, so I do believe that today will be a little bit of a shorter video. However, I am going to be, again, implementing a few more strategies that I am, well, not strategies, a few more indicators, and likely a couple of strategies, alongside of the analysis that I do provide. Again, I am using the YouTube platform as a basis of logging my own findings, documenting my own findings in the market and so on and so forth. So as I've been going through the program that I'm studying, I'm picking up more and more on indicators that I basically didn't pick up too much on in the past. So again, I am in the learning process just like everybody else. Please bear with me, but I'm just gonna be throwing in random stuff here and there about things that I do learn. And if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns about that, just let me know in the Blackfire Technical Analysis Facebook page or drop a comment below. If you do like the content that we do provide, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that like button, please tick that little bell. Hell, hit the dislike button. It's all one and the same to me. It gets us a little more traction. It gets us a little bit more visibility so that we can spread the knowledge and try to teach newcomers basically the beginning foundations of trading, and hopefully at some point we can get some new subscribers that are significantly better at trading than I am, so I can learn from them. Again, this is just a giant learning opportunity for myself and for everybody involved. So I do want to try my best to make sure that at least everybody has the knowledge that they can come in, they can leave a comment, they can discuss anything they want to discuss, they can argue, they can debate, so on and so forth, so long as you do it professionally, obviously. We're not looking to put anybody down, for lack of knowledge or for lack of knowing, specific, tickers or whatever. But again, that's the overall, that's the overall goal of the group is to bring as many TA nerds into the channel so that we can learn together. And I think that's where I'm going to wrap it. Let's go ahead and dive right in. We're going to go ahead and first look at Nasdaq, continuing with that pullback after the extension target of the 1.414 Fibonacci extension was met. I was saying that the underlying condition of a pullback to the red 10 simple would not be out of the question. We actually saw yesterday's candle wick a little further than that, bounce off that prior low support here, bounce right back up above the red 10 simple. Now we're seeing a little bit more continuation as a result. Obviously volatility here, not really expanding to, great lengths. We're actually just seeing a big contraction phase right here. And, it's continuing to retract. Yeah, we got this signal here saying, hey, a move was coming. That move played out, but, volatility wise, it was pretty weak. So I am going to be looking for, maybe a little bit of consolidation, or a little bit of a weaker pullback as a result of meeting this top here alongside RSI here. Clear. That's picture perfect right there. Printing a nice, beautiful top, following through the bottom side of the bullish control zone. Exponential is flatlined right at the edge of that zone here. So for now, the conditions are more or less the same. Any kind of daily candle closure below the red 10 simple, I'll look for a full pullback all the way to that, that low here, right around 14,530. That prior low support that we have marked off here. And so long as we're above all major moving averages here, I have no reason not to think that we can't, see another potential stab at the 14,880 region. Wick up, that all-time high wick up here. That would not be out of the question. Any break above that region, I'm going to be looking for full extension all the way to the 272 Fibonacci extension region. Over time, obviously nothing too immediate. We're not going to be looking for it's going to go bullish, it's going to go there in 2 days. No. It could take a long time. That's a major extension, and that's to say it might not even get all the way up to that region. However, a break of the 1414, back testing it as support and continuing onwards and upwards to new all-time highs would convince me that, maybe we see, an attempt to reach that kind of level here. Again, there is a lot of space between the 1414 and the two spot 272 here. So a little bit of hindsight trading. It's not a crystal ball. Never a crystal ball prediction. Anything can happen in the market. So that's kind of how I'm looking at Nasdaq. I'm still massively bullish. Again, looking at the stochastics, a little bit of a stronger cross to the downside, but we've seen something like that prior get supported very, very well without even touching the top side of the bullish control zone here. So as long as we're in the critical zone from a stochastics perspective, I'm going to be massively bullish. And the moment that we see any kind of reversal style formation with stochastics following through back into the bullish control zone, that's when I'm going to get a little bit more concerned for a potential reversal. But for now, all things considered, I'm still bullish. I'm still very bullish on Nasdaq, and that's kind of where I'm going to leave that one. We'll go ahead and move on to SPY futures here. Again, I think this one's going to be a little bit more of a shorter stream today. This one actually a little more telling, in my opinion. Nice little top call here, rejecting that bullish control zone for a second time, following through below the exponential moving average here. And what do we see on price action? Price action currently actually opened below. Is that closed below the red 10? That's too tight to really call. I would say that the red 10 simple held on yesterday's candle, but we did see a down open here below the red 10 simple. So pullback to the yellow 21 would not be out of question. As a matter of fact, a pullback all the way to the top side of this box zone here would kind of be my next target, to be quite honest with you, right around 42.50. And a pullback to that region, base a high or low, would be out of question. Wouldn't be out of question. Underlying conditions still remain. A break of the upside resistance here, right aligned with the one spot 272, and my next extension would be the one spot 414, right around $4,400. Give or take a few bucks. And for now, again, the condition has been met for a little bit of downside here. We do see stochastics looking a little bit more aggressive to the downside. Yes, we are still in the bullish critical zone. However, we don't see that coiling, right? We don't see that same coiling action on the stochastics that we do with Nasdaq. And that's kind of a little bit of a a little bit of a scare here. We do get a little bit of a rejection of that negatively sloped exponential with continuation to the downside. So I'm going to be more and more convinced of a potential reversal to the downside, especially if we see stochastics breach back into the bullish control zone here with any kind of closure. I would say below this region here, 42.50. That would be my tell that we have much lower to go, to be quite honest with you, especially if it's on high volume. Looking at the RSI, I think we already did that. Yeah, bearish divergence. Yeah, we already did the RSI. The long-term structure is still very valid. As far as the long-term bullish structure is concerned, I have no reason to be, immediately bearish, long-term bearish, or anything like that. Even seeing a nasty pullback to the green 55 wouldn't be a death sentence in my opinion. I wouldn't be, screaming bear market if we saw those conditions met. But for now, maybe a little bit more of a pullback, maybe a little bit more consolidation. We do see historical volatility has been basically in a contraction phase this entire time. Not really seeing explosive expansion here. Nothing too violent from SPY futures perspective here. So looking at more contraction to the downside, volatility is cooling off. So that does give us the basis that maybe a pullback is a little bit weak here, and maybe we see a little bit of consolidation. But again, I want to see that play out before I make that kind of call. So that's going to be SPY futures. We'll move on to Dow Jones. Whoa, down open here. We did close above the yellow 21 moving average here, but rejected the red 10. I do think we have a little bit more downside to go. Volatility, contracting. Volatility has been very, very weak. Except for these one-off spikes up here. I look for volatility. I look for those, booms, right? I look for those boomy moves here. But volatility is cooling down. Tells me that the price action isn't as violent as in the past. We do see the stochastics are still up. And still remains in the bullish critical zone here, actually continuing on new highs. That's actually not a bad signal, to be quite honest with you. RSI tells me a different story, though. Second drive of bearish divergence continues to play out to the downside. We see a break of that exponential, and the exponential is now negative slightly, but negative nonetheless. So, it does suggest a little bit more downside price action for this asset, to be quite honest with you. I don't know what happens from here, to be quite honest with you. The fact that we recovered the yellow 21, but we down opened. We wicked all the way to green 55. There is no low call or anything like that unless we get major continuation back up. At the very least, back above 34,675. That's kind of where I'd be looking for a low to be, printed out on the RSI. But until that point, I do have to be biased for a little bit more downside. Again, we got that, 4 stabs at that resistance here, and all 4 times price action rejected printing new all-time highs. So the simple fact of seeing those 4 rejections tells me that, there's a little bit of down pressure on this one. So that's kind of how I'm looking at Dow Jones. Let's move on. Dixie top, bearish divergence, played, supported, red 10 simple, bounce. Rejecting that blue 377, that blue 377 has been staunch resistance for quite some time now, and again, the same conditions are what I'm looking for here. Any break above that blue 377 here, my next target's going to be this resistance. But if we get a break above the blue 377 and consolidation up, realistically, my next target is going to be 93.25, or that prior structural all-time high, or not all-time high, excuse me, prior structural high. Again, I am still in a bearish mindset until proven otherwise, and that is the one specific point that I'm looking for to break for me to be convinced of anything long-term bullish here. Again, yeah, this was an uptrend, not long-term, got completely destroyed. This is an uptrend, not confirmed as long-term yet. It could get completely destroyed, and we see this downtrend is a downtrend. And there's really nothing anyone can really do or say to convince me otherwise. That there's potential for a long-term reversal, but there's no confirmation of a long-term reversal. And until there's a confirmation of long-term reversal, I'm fucking bearish. I'm going to be bearish until proven otherwise. So, it's stair-stepping its way up. Momentum's basically carrying price action to the upside. We do see that the bulls have, most of the control right now, but again, not long-term control at all until we break that 93.25 region. Stochastic's curling back up here, looking like it wants to reject maybe the middle of the bullish control zone near the bottom. I'd say, yeah, that'd be close enough to be a rejection of the bottom, but it's not confirmed. It's just it's just ticked up right now. We don't have a cross. We don't have that exponential forcing itself back to a positive slope here. So the bias for more downside is still a potential here. RSI, I think we did RSI, but I'm going to do it again. Man, another top with bearish divergence. It's a light move here, to be quite honest with you. I do think that this one has already played out, and if we get a third drive, it's going to be a little bit scary in my opinion. But we do see that exponential has been forced back to a negative slope. So the downside pressure is on. The bulls have a little work to go. Again, that blue 377 is right now, for the current analysis, is the most important point that I'm looking at here. We need to see price action recover that blue 377 before I start extending targets to the upside. And quite the opposite. Any close below the red 10 simple, and then I'm gonna be looking for price action in this little bit of a like an order block or a liquid zone region here, with the bottom side being 92.22, and potentially even further, all the way down to 91.89 here. That wouldn't necessarily defeat the whole bullish perspective. However, it would prove to print a new low. So there's that. But for now, that's kind of how I'm looking at Dixie. Still just waiting for that blue 377. That's the most important one that I'm looking at. And I think we'll move on to Bitcoin. We don't have any freaking requests tonight, so I might just throw in a couple of fillers to get some time going here. Gotta love that water, man. Excuse me. Again, yeah, we don't have any requests. Drop requests, guys, and it makes my streams longer. It lets me give you more content. Because I don't know what to just throw in there except for what I'm looking at and what I'm trading. But for now, we'll look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin looking a little bit more concerning. Volatility is extremely low right now. We don't have a zero signal yet or anything like that, but this is indicative of something's about to happen. Something's coming for Bitcoin. Again, the direction is not implied, but volatility is absolutely crushed right now, and that's a tell that something is about to happen fairly soon. Again, there is no real time estimate on when that's going to happen. However, it's crushed. Volatility is extremely low here on this downside movement for Bitcoin, and right now we do see support of that blue 377 moving average here. Bulls have some work to do if they want to send this one back to the upside again. We saw all this pressure here. We're seeing so much pressure on that blue 377. It's, in my opinion, getting weaker and weaker and weaker with every tick that closes. So currently I am looking at the blue 377. Any kind of daily candle closure below that region, I'll be looking for a test of the prior lows here, at the very least around 31,550. But another possibility to the downside would be this region here at at basically the last hope stand for Bitcoin, right around 30,350 to 30,400, give or take $50. Somewhere around that region is basically the last hope. Any candle closure below there, my next target's going to be this box down here, somewhere between 24,500 and 22,100. Those are going to be my targets to the downside. This actually might be wrong here. I'm going to use candle bodies for this one here. Yeah, let's use candle bodies. That's going to be more reliable from my perspective. 23, we'll just call it 24,000 and 22,600. Somewhere in that region is kind of an expected target. Again, if we see the bottom side of this box here break, again, this is like the absolute last hope, in my opinion. We take out this this low here, this prior low, then it's just gonna be very, very, very indicative that bots and algorithms are gonna take over at that level to the sell side, and I do think it will be it will result in volatility expanding extremely with violent price action to the downside. We do see volume collapsing here, so it's indicative that the moves are losing steam here. All of this evidence is pointing towards something is about to happen. Again, the direction is not implied, but something big is coming. And with the evidence that the chart is giving me, the evidence is putting pressure to the downside. There's so much pressure on that blue 377 that it's bound to break at some point, right? It's bound to break. It's statistically more probable to break to the downside now that we have all of these tests, all of this support, right? All of this price action being forced on that blue 377 is statistically more probable from my perspective that it breaks. But to the upside, quite the contrary. Any kind of candle closure above 34,550, I will be looking at extension to the prior higher high, right around 35, we'll just call it 36,000, somewhere in that ballpark, and anything above that region, then I'll extend targets to the top side of the range here, 40,000, 41,000, give or take a few bucks. But again, more evidence to the downside. That bearish death cross here is gaining more and more divergence as every day passes. So long as we remain below these two moving averages, they will gain strength momentously to the downside. And stochastics here rejecting the bottom side of the bullish control zone, coming back down into the neutral zone. It's in the bullish neutral zone. Yes, that much is evident, but it's aggressive. It's aggressively pointing down, so that's a tell. And it's a lower high on a stochastics perspective. So that's definitely a tell that the bulls are losing steam. It does look like the bears want to start taking control here. RSI still in the bearish area here, breaking through that exponential, forcing the exponential back to a negative slope. That's not a tell of a positive thing for me. More indicative of negative price action. So we've been below this midline here for some time now, and that's just indicative of bearish control. So the more we consolidate below that 50 line without seeing any kind of explosive movement to the upside, without seeing volatility expand while price action is moving to the upside, so on and so forth, I'm biased to the downside on this one, to be quite honest with you, and I do believe Bitcoin's on its last leg, and we're not that far away from the last leg point as it stands, but the blue 377 breaking and seeing consecutive closures below that is going to be kind of my tell, hey, we're really going to start putting pressure on this last level here, and that last level is at risk to break to the downside, and if it does break, boy, it'll be juicy. So to kind of stay transparent with the viewers, I am finally learning how to trade consolidation, and the thing that I was missing was the BBWP, the Bollinger Band width percentile, which is a volatility indicator, and I was using the historical volatility percentile in the past, which is a different indicator, and I didn't like that indicator. I love this one, and this is the one that I'm looking at. I love this one so much better because it gives me cleaner reads. It gives me, you know, a better idea of whether, you know, volatility is expanding or contracting. And obviously right now it is contracting. And that's not to say that it has to expand right off the bat. But it does tell me that you know, volatility is extremely crushed. We could see a little bit more consolidation to the downside before an explosive move. Again, direction is not implied, but what this tells me is, hey, start paying attention, you know, start focusing, start paying attention to those key critical levels to the upside and to the downside, because once you see volatility explode upon a confirmation of a major level breaking on good volume, that's your tell of, hey, this is a trending move, right? Typically when we see volatility hit those extremely low reads, you know, the 0 percentile, it's typically indicative of a potential future trending move to come. Again, the direction is not implied, but the trending move is most definitely implied. So it's definitely getting near crunch time here for Bitcoin. I do think Bitcoin has a lot of work to go if it wants to reclaim any kind of bullish stature here. And for now, I am watching it with bearish goggles. Obviously, I'm watching, you know, all the major levels that I have highlighted to the upside and to the downside, but there's pressure to the downside. So I do have to lean more for the downside on Bitcoin, unfortunately. And I think we'll go ahead and check out AMC, check out a couple of the stocks that everybody's been requesting here. Now, here's what I'm talking about, right? Volatility was crushed on this downside move. It started expanding, right? It started expanding on that breakdown. We got a little bit of a you know, buy up off of that green 55 moving average here, back into this you know, back into this consolidation block, you know, within this box here. And yeah, you know, I do have to say that with the recovery of that box, you know, a move all the way back up to the top side of the box would not be out of the question. Or we see consolidation. Again, we could see volatility curl over and, you know, continue to be in a contraction phase while we see AMC, you know, continue to consolidate, maybe go a little bit lower. That would not be out of the question. The fact that we're still holding this box and you know, momentum oscillators are cooling down quite significantly is a tell that maybe just maybe, excuse me, we see a bullish reset here for AMC, which would be pretty cool here. We do have a macro high or low from a stochastics perspective, and I do believe we can put in a nice little uptrend line. But what I want to see for this to be confirmed is this break back into the box confirmed as a low. And the condition that I would need to be to see for me to confirm this as a low is a candle closure at a bare minimum back above the red 10 simple, right around 53.50. It's kind of the target that I'm looking at for right now for this to be confirmed as a low, especially a higher low, a macro higher low from a RSI perspective. This actually goes back even more here. You know, it could work. It could most definitely work. This is definitely a bullish uptrend. It's still bullish technically in my eyes. No major signs of, you know, actual reversal here. Just, you know, trickling down here, and boom, bouncing off that green 55. So, you know, that's almost perfectly aligned with this region right here, the 35.60 region. I would consider that tested and confirmed as support along with the green 55. Now, is that to say that we couldn't see a pullback and see this tested as new support, the 42.60 region? No, that's definitely a possibility within the realm of possibilities for this asset for now. But I am leaning on the side of continuation. I would rather see this one go up to the red 10 simple, close above the red 10 simple, and that would give me the bias to look for potential new all-time highs on this one. Again, so long as those conditions are met. But things are, things are a little different with this one. There's a bearish perspective from a stochastics view on this one. Seeing that major continuation to the downside, we could see stochastics continue all the way down to this region and bounce back up. That would not be out of the question. RSI still, bleeding to the downside a little bit, not really confirming a low here. Exponential is, very, very negative, and any kind of pump up, I unfortunately do have to look at the exponential as potential resistance. I guess that would be in line with the all-time high resistance for AMC. But what would I prefer to see? I would prefer to see a break of the all-time high and volatility just take off. That would be your tell that the bulls are getting ready to start taking over again. So that's AMC. That's how I'm looking at it. Let's look at Mmat, and I think this will be the last one. Again, it is a little bit of a shorter stream. I do apologize, but in the group today, I didn't get any requests. So if I don't get any requests, I have no requests to fulfill. It doesn't keep the stream longer. I'm actually going to get off here and just continue cranking on my studies. But looking at MMAT, down. Extreme volatility right here on this downside movement. It's been basically at the 100th percentile or just below the 100th percentile for quite some time. That is your tell that this downside move has been done with strength. It's strong. It's violent, strong price action to the downside. This is a melt. I do not think this is bullish anymore. I do think continuation to this support level here at 4.43 is the next target, to be quite honest with you. All the lows, the higher lows that we did see set on this asset have been taken out. Well, there's only one higher low, to be quite honest with you. No, there's a couple more. There's a couple more within this trend. But for the most part, this is toppy. It's definitely a top. And again, I described this one yesterday, on that very first red day with that extreme volume to the downside alongside volatility just getting completely crushed, forcing all of the momentum oscillators to the downside. That was your tell. That was your clean tell that this one was going to violently continue down to the south here. So the fact that we broke the cyan 89, tested it, and confirmed it as resistance tells me that this one's going to come down a little bit more coming into tomorrow. And again, this is the next target, 4.41. We could see price action play out for the next few days all the way down to that target, and then we'll come back and reassess. However, any candle closure back above $6 likely confirms a low, not a higher low, a lower low. Most definitely it would be confirmed a lower low, but a low nonetheless. And I would look for extension all the way back up to the green 55, the first target at the very least, right around 6.68. And that's kind of where I'm going to leave MMAT, and I think that's where I'm going to leave the stream, guys. If you did enjoy the content, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. Tick that little bell. Tick the little dislike button if you want to. Drop a comment. Drop some hate. I don't care. It all brings a little bit more juice for the YouTube algorithm, and it helps the Blackfire technical analysis page gain a little bit more visibility. Again, it's all about coming together, learning technical analysis with each other, learning market fundamentals, learning anything that applies to the market absolutely goes in Blackfire technical analysis. So it doesn't have to be all technicals. It's just that's my main niche, but I'm always willing to learn more. So join the channel. I'd love to have anybody possible. Everybody is welcome. It is a public channel. Please come through, hit that subscribe button. And until next time, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Stay safe, stay happy, and stay healthy.